Okay, so Kay is pointing me over to Paul, who's working on getting some more terrains and stuff. So what you got going there? I see some new UI stuff there. That's quite
well, yeah, we're switching out all the UI, but it's not quite done yet, so we won't show that off too much. One of the things Brad was saying that people complained about the terrain being so boring. Now, we still have the basic premise: the land is blighted. We won't always start out in a blighted area, but we went ahead and even made our blighted areas a little more interesting. We now have like different types. You can see the ground is a lot less plain even here. We've got these more rugged areas. And then when you go to the fallen areas, you'll see, oh, here's a chasm.
Oh, they look a lot better. Oh, that looks really cool.
And, you know, we have...
I haven't seen that in game yet, so that's pretty sweet.
They're not 100% on, but then we have, like, here's a fertile area of land, and then you can see these are blighted.
Right. I see the forests look a lot better.
Yeah, and the forests are now all tiles. We're having a problem with the random placement that needs to be fixed. So they look a little tiley right now, but they'll look better later. We've also switched out all of the mountain textures. Like I said, this is just a map that I'm working on right now to test the new terrains, and I'll be putting in some wildlands today, which is
what's a wildland?
Wildlands are the areas that you have to conquer in order to be able to get them.
Oh, okay.
One kind of example of that will be there's a couple that are chasm based, so you kind of get a.
I gotta see that. I gotta see that chasm. That is really sweet.
This is you can see there's like little.
See, this is where a freeform camera really is nice, because the fact that a user can just kind of do that sort of thing, and it looks good from every angle.
We've also, well, ironically, what we did was we put in the camera snapback, so you always get a nice, pretty view. But then when you want to see it, you can grab it, spin it around.
So if you let go,
if you let back, it goes back to
nice.
A more traditional camera point of view, which allows us to have a little tighter lighting. One of the reasons that Fallen Enchantress came across as a little bland.
You mean War and Magic?
I mean War and Magic came off as a little bland is because we had to have really intense ambience so that you could be seen from every angle.
Right.
Whereas now we can say, okay, you're walking into the dark. If you turn your camera on and look at somebody and the lights behind them, they'll look dark, and that's just the price you pay to have good lighting.
Right.
But we had to worry about that with Fallen Enchantress because you would literally turn the map. I mean, with War Magic, you turn the map and you start playing the game upside down, and you'd never know the difference.
Right.
Whereas now we actually have a way. You can of course turn it off if you really want that old feeling back. We also have an ambient slider, so you can crank the light way up if the game's too dark, or way down if you want more contrast. And we're still working on it. We're going to do a lot more interesting props, monsters, goodie huts, things like that. Will be a lot more eye candy in the game. Right now we're still just focusing on making sure the general terrain is...
So the move to Pixel Shader 3 from Pixel Shader 2, no, Demigod uses Pixel Shader 3.
Well, for us, the main thing we're going to get out of it is we get more bones, which for the animation, and we get less limitations on how many textures we can have in one mesh. And that was one of the things that really kept us from being able to do a lot of this stuff in War of Magic. So, and there, I mean, thousands of little things, but I know
that one of the things is memory. It helps us with memory.
Yes, we can now batch things that are that are the same mesh but different colors, whereas before we'd have to have a batch for every one, and each one of those batches would have a certain amount of memory saved up, and the next thing you know, you'd have, a gigabyte of houses. So, whereas now you'll have, 100 megabytes of houses or whatever. So.
Well, now there's no houses, right?
Well, that is ironic. Yes, there are no houses.
Right. It's a different mechanic. A lot cleaner. It's a lot more abstracted, but it lets your building. You're not doing as much busy work in this, which is a lot nicer, and it lets each building be interesting. Because the housing concept, which was admittedly that was one of my design things, I came up with because I wanted, on paper, I thought it was an elegant game design, a game mechanic.
Well, I missed it when we first took it out. Now, not so much. But what I was afraid of is that our cities would become boring because you couldn't really make them sprawl because you didn't have those things like housing and gardens and stuff to fill it up. Whereas now, every single thing you put is more important to you because it's a unique asset, as opposed to just yet another house, yet another house.
Yeah, and one of the things is you can tell, you can at a glance you can tell what city you're looking at, because each city's a lot more specialized, more unique looking, and they're still plenty big. So all right, well, see you later, Paul.